Hi again. Here we are to continue our discussion of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and we're going to continue talking about responsive design. And right now we've got a page, and our page has got these three boxes, and they fit inside a maximum width container that has a maximum of 900. And then as the window shrinks, when the width of the container gets smaller, let me close that window there, right? When the window gets smaller, the boxes shrink and they start to become, smaller, and they're always 33% of the container, right? And that works pretty good. So that would be pretty responsive, on tablets, and maybe it would work on small desktops, right? The problem, though, is when the window gets really small. So when they get about this wide, imagine on your iPhone or your, Android phone or something, the boxes here would be maybe too narrow, right? So at this point, maybe we want them to go 100% width of the container, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up some media queries, okay? So a media query allows us to target styles in our style sheet at particular, I don't know what you'd call it, at particular situations, right? So in our case, what I want to do is I want to say that some styles will be applied when the screen is wider than a certain amount, and some will be applied when the screen is smaller than a certain amount, okay? So essentially, when we're on the tablet or the desktop, we get one set of styles, and when we're on an iPhone or an Android phone, like a smaller screen, we'll have another set of styles, okay? I'll put them down here. Let's go to our style sheet. And what I want to do is I want to start with at media. Okay, so this this special, directive here is saying like, hey, this is a media query and it only applies in a certain situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to describe the situation. So we're going to say only on the screen. Okay, so if we were in print or on some other device, some other way to display this, then this rule doesn't apply. Okay, so only on the screen. And then we're going to say and, because we want another rule. So when you're on the screen, and the min width, right? The minimum width is 768 pixels. Okay? And then media queries, they look a lot like regular CSS, style rules, right? You put the curly brackets here after the at media, okay? And then you can put some styles in here. I'll do that in a moment, okay? I'm going to add another media query, okay? So I'll do at media, and I'm going to say only on the screen and when the max width of the screen is 767 pixels. Okay, so the two media queries here are saying this. Okay, so let's just forget about the only screen and part, and let's just look at this, because this is really where things are happening, right? All the rules that we put inside here will only apply when the screen has a minimum size of 768. So that means the minimum size means that it's going to be this value or greater. So 768, 769, 800, 900, 1,000, whatever, right? So anything larger than this value, and we get these rules. Down here, we're going to say max width of 767. So in here, the rules that we apply will only be in effect when the screen is 767 pixels or smaller. Okay, so 766, 765, 480, any number smaller than this gets the rules in here. Okay, so why don't we do this? So right now, the box here, these rules outside of the media queries apply all the time, right? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to overwrite this rule when the screen is smaller than, or 767 and smaller, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say box box dot width is, let's do, my boxes here, they get this margin, right? So if I overwrite some of the styles down here, I have to be careful how I overwrite them, right? So the height of 100 and background color red is okay, and float left maybe is okay. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to do width of 100, okay? And, maybe I still like this 1em margin, so that'll be there, but maybe here I'll say calc 100% minus 2em. How about that, right? So let's do that. So now you can see when you write a rule inside of the @media, you write the whole selector, right? Just like you would write the rule on the outside, but here we're writing everything inside the curly brackets for this media query, okay? So let's save that and we'll give it a test. So I'll refresh here. And so the screen here is wider than 767, but now you can see when I get to this point, right? So this is maybe 768, or, there we go, 767, 768, right? So as I get smaller, now all the boxes are 100%, okay? So anyway, there's a simple example of media queries and how to set them up. Now again, I didn't use this one, but if you had some situations where you wanted to edit the rules up here, when the screen was wider than 768, then we could have made that happen here. We could have also, placed this rule inside here and then written the whole thing again here differently, right? I did it this way. These rules are going to apply everywhere, and then I'm going to just make the minimum changes in here, and that seemed to work better for this situation. But, it's open to your interpretation and what works for you, okay? So thanks for watching, and I hope that is helpful.